If you're like me and you're a fan of women's basketball, then you've been watching a lot of the college basketball game. Commentators during games, they'll talk about different players, they'll talk about what's going on in their lives. But one thing I noticed when watching LSU games is that the commentators tend to focus a lot on Malaysia Fuwiley. For those of you who don't know, Malaysia Fuwiley is a transfer to LSU from the South Carolina Gamecocks. The previous 2 seasons, she played under Dawn Staley, and there's been talk around her discipline and whether or not she truly fit into South Carolina's system because she's an athletic guard and she's turnover prone. Whereas Dawn, she preaches discipline from her players. So I remember one game that happened not too long ago. LSU was playing Georgia, and the commentator said something along the lines of, Malaysia Fuwiley is not used to playing in late game scenarios. I thought my ears were playing tricks on me. But then I watched LSU take down Texas. And do you know what I heard? The commentators seemingly confirming that Kim Mulkey said Malaysia Fuwiley is not used to playing in late game scenarios. And that's something that Kim Mulkey does differently than when she was at South Carolina. Now, I know this not to be true. As someone who follows the South Carolina Gamecocks, Malaysia Fuwiley has played in many late game scenarios. Case in point, that famous shot where Camila Cardozo hits the 3 for South Carolina to remain undefeated against Tennessee, guess who was in the game? And then that got me to thinking, every time Malaysia Fuwiley comes into a game for LSU, or a lot of times rather, I notice that the commentators tend to talk about how she transferred from South Carolina to LSU. She transferred last year. I feel like this adds to a lot of the talk surrounding Dawn Staley. I've seen online, threads specifically because I don't pay attention to Twitter anymore. Actually, I deleted my Twitter. That people say Dawn Staley can't develop guards. Dawn Staley is one of the top point guards in NCAA college women's basketball history. What do you mean she doesn't develop guards? That's her position. Some people are just naturally more talented in their programs. Dawn's specialty is bigs. If you look at those coached by Dawn Staley who are currently doing well in the WNBA, you can kind of count them on one hand. I'm talking about exceptional athletes here. Asia Wilson, Aaliyah Boston, Camila Cardozo, Alicia Gray, Tahina Paopao. That's 5, 2 of which are guard. And I'd also like to add, before she was injured, Ty Harris would be in that conversation too. That's another guard. 3 guards, 3 bigs. Obviously, she has other players who are drafted and are in the league too. But the fact of the matter is, Dawn can only do but so much. And I believe that Raven Johnson, a current guard that's under her right now, is going to do very well in the WNBA. She's been under Dawn for numerous years at South Carolina. And Diana Taurasi herself said that Raven will have a home in the W. Yes, coaches have to develop their players somewhat and guide them, but another part of it is the players wanting it themselves. I think that a lot of the conversation surrounding Dawn Staley is rooted in misogynoir. UConn has lost players, but you won't see people talking about Gino that way. LSU, a lot of their players left from last year. So all I'm saying is, can we stop with all the talk about Dawn Staley's transfers? They're not many. The South Carolina team is still good right now, so let Lay have her time and be great on her own, and let Dawn continue to steer her ship. Trust me, she's going to produce a lot more pros in the future.